Kristen. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so excited to talk to you about your wedding last summer, which, I mean, we're already approaching warm weather again, so it's crazy that we're coming full circle. But
Yes.
before we dive in, can you introduce yourself to the viewers, your name, when you got married, where you got married, and then maybe like a fun fact about your wedding day?
Yes. So my name is Kristen. I got married July 12th, 2025 at the Pomme in Radnor. It's right around the corner from Villanova. And it was just the most cutest, peaceful, garden party sort of vibes of a venue. So if you're looking for that, I definitely recommend checking them out. I have nothing but good things to say about the beautiful venue, obviously, but also everyone that works there was so helpful, and I just had the best experience. And fun fact, Gabby and I actually went to college together at the University of Georgia. We both are from Pennsylvania, and we met even before freshman year started in a Facebook group for out-of-state students, and we went to UGA together. Then we both ended up moving back to Philly, suburbs of Philly area. And when I found out that she was a wedding photographer, I kind of casually mentioned it to my now husband, and he saved her information and actually hired her to photograph our proposal. And then also, obviously, we hired her for our wedding too. So it's just such a cute little full circle moment because we've known each other since we were probably 18 years old, and now we're both 27, 28. I'm married, she's getting married. So it's just been such a long time. So, yeah, I guess that's a good fun fact for the viewers to know and a good background about the two of us.
Yes, fantastic fun fact. And I gulped when you said we were 18. We've known each other for 10 years now.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's crazy. Oh my gosh. Yes, go dogs, go UGA, great college. But yeah, I remember us meeting in Westchester, I think.
Yes,
we
at the Couch
met
Tomato.
up for a meal. Yes, the Couch Tomato. Because
Yes.
I don't know if you knew anybody going to UGA, but I knew nobody.
No, I didn't know anyone. Gabby was the first person I met going.
Yeah. Yes, same to you. The only person I knew before making the drive down to start the college experience.
Yes.
And we were connected throughout college, but never ended up in the same friend group.
Yes.
Because you joined a sorority.
Yes.
Amazing. I did not. I was on the cross country team for a hot second, and then decided it was not for me. But it's so cool to have come full circle and then still both end up in the Philly area.
Yeah.
And working together, getting to photograph you love.
Yes, and I would see you around campus all the time, and I'd be so excited. We would chat it up. My parents love you. They have met you a handful of times, and during college, my mom you call, you catch up over the phone. She would always be like, "How's Gabby Audi doing?" Every couple months, she'd be like, "Have you seen her recently?"
That's so sweet.
She was so excited when I told her you were going to photograph the wedding and that you did the engagement. She was so excited to have you back around again, and she just loves you and thinks so highly of you. So,
oh, thank you. That makes me so happy. She's so nice. It was so great to see her again at the wedding.
Yes.
But yeah, it's just so cool, so full circle. I remember doing a double take when the inquiry came in that Austin sent in before proposing. I saw Kristen and I was like, no way. There's no way. It can't be. And then I looked and I was like, no way, it is.
Yeah.
And I wore a super elaborate disguise for your proposal because I was so nervous you would see me and recognize me. But you didn't, and then it worked.
No. And it's funny because the proposal itself wasn't a surprise. I very much knew I was being proposed to on that day. So we're approaching the kind of rose gardens in Philadelphia where I'm okay, obviously this is where it's going to be happening. And I didn't see Gabby at all, but there was this other random man in the distance, kind of in the background, sort of towards where we were walking. And he had this giant camera. So I just assumed oh, there's the photographer, that man. And so we turn and he was holding my hand, says all the sweet things, proposes, we hug, we kiss. And then he was and I have another surprise. And then he points the opposite way, the way that the man was not standing. And then it's you. And I was oh my gosh. So I really was so surprised she was there, especially because I saw another guy with a camera. But I guess after the fact, you said it was just like a tourist that you were like signaling him to like get out of the way, or else he would have been in the background of all the photos. So yeah, it was such a surprise that you were there. And then we had the cutest photo shoot after that. We were able to use all the pictures for save the dates and other wedding things. So that was awesome.
That is so funny that you thought it was the other photographer there. I didn't know that. Yeah, yes. I was like so panicked. I was like, "You need to move," but like whispering and like using hand signals. I think I even at one point I fake got down on one knee. I was like, "Proposal happening here. You need to go."
Yes.
That's so funny. But yeah, no, we had such a great session afterwards. It was like the most beautiful night. It was golden hour. The sun was sunning. It was just like, it was amazing. And I had so much fun. You guys were like so cute too. It was really fun.
Like, it was early October, October 3rd. Yeah. So it wasn't too hot. It wasn't too cold. It was just the perfect fall golden hour.
Wait, is that the Mean Girls Day? Is it October 3rd?
Isn't that?
It was October 4th.
I can't remember. I
can't remember.
I want to say it's October. I think October 3rd is the Mean Girls reference.
It might be. That's funny.
Yeah, that is funny. If it is, that is funny.
Yes. But yeah, so we had like engagement photos taken right after you proposed, and then you were able to use that for all of your like extra things for the wedding. So it was how long from the day you got engaged to the day you got married?
So it actually was kind of a while. So I got engaged October 2023, and then I got married July 2025. So a little over a year and a half. The reason being when I was engaged, like when I got proposed to and accepted the proposal, I was in the middle of a residency program that was just very intense, time-consuming, rigorous, and I didn't want to be in that state of mind while like planning for and preparing for my wedding. I just wanted to be more present and able to put more time and energy into it. So basically, as soon as we got engaged, we found our venue just so we at least had the date, and also solidified all the major vendors, which honestly it was really nice because since it was so far in advance, pretty much every single person that I reached out to had availability for when I was looking. So I didn't have to reach out to tons and tons of people. I kind of found who I wanted. They said yes, and we went from there. The reason we did July is because we wanted a summer wedding, and that weekend just seemed to work for a lot of our friends and our family. It's right after the 4th of July, so some people had kind of time off. They made a whole week out of the trip, so it just worked out really, really well.
That's amazing to hear because, I mean, I am planning my own wedding right now, and I can see on the other side that wedding planning is a lot. Like, it takes a lot of time. And I can't imagine, like, because residency is intense. It is a lot of work. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of, like, emotional energy, too.
Yeah.
So I can so see how you were just like, this is just not the right time to be planning a day that's supposed to be happy and not stressful at all.
Yes. So we kind of
I'm
like
glad you had that time.
Booked the venue, the vendors, and then I didn't do anything for like a year. And then when we got like closer to the calendar date, obviously there's more things to start kind of planning and putting together, but there was a good period of time in there where like we weren't really thinking about the wedding at all, just because like it wasn't top priority at the time. But overall, like I did like having that length of engagement. If you have to do a similar thing for personal reasons, or maybe your venue that you're wanting just doesn't have anything for like a year and a half, 2 years, it's really not the worst thing. I know it seems like a long time, but it flies, and it also does space out the expenses a little bit too. Like you have time to prepare, save while you're engaged. So
yeah, that's a really good point too, because I feel like many vendors kind of space out their payments differently. So having time between booking vendors just gives you ample time to like budget for everything. That's a good point.
Yeah, thank you.
Did you have like a favorite part of the wedding planning process, or something that you really enjoyed, like seeing a vision and then making it happen?
Yeah, I really enjoyed the venue tours. I just thought they were so fun. We only ended up touring 4 venues because I kind of knew what I was looking for. And we were looking for a venue in a very certain vicinity. We didn't want to be in the city of Philadelphia, but we didn't want to be too far away from the city because we had a lot of guests flying in from out of town. So we were kind of keeping it in a certain radius. So there's only really so many venues that fit this criteria. So we only toured 4 venues, and honestly, we loved like different things about each one of them, but we ended up going with the Pomme, obviously, which we loved. So that was really fun. And I also really liked the Florals too. I just love flowers. I'm such a flower gal. And it was just so fun to like save different Pinterest photos, give them to my florist, and then see her recreate that on the wedding day. And she did such a beautiful job. So that was really satisfying to put together too.
That's amazing. I love that. I feel like the venue touring is fun, but also maybe the most difficult part for some people if they don't have like specific criteria that the venue needs to fit in. So
right.
I feel like the location and the vision combined was like helpful for you guys to like be able to quickly narrow down and find like the perfect place.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, and Pomme is like, it's fairy tale garden vibes.
Yes.
Even like slightly foresty, but it's in King of Prussia. Like it is like, it's not in a forest. But when you enter the venue, you feel like you're kind of transported somewhere else.
Yeah. Pomme, the term pomme is French for apple, so it's supposed to be like French European sort of vibes, and it really does look like that, like the architecture and stuff, and that's kind of what I was going for, so it just fit perfectly.
Yeah, they even have the swans like in Europe.
Yes, they have two swans. They were kind of crazy though. They were like fighting at the like netting.
Yeah. Swans, I discovered, are like quite mean. Like they're not nice. They're beautiful, but they're just not nice birds, which is why there's netting.
Yeah, no, they looked nice in the pond, and we definitely got some good pictures of them.
Yeah.
And we have like a couple little like swan references around our house now. Like we have a cute little like swan like watercolor in the bathroom. My bridal shower is actually also at a place in Atlanta called the Swan House, so there were swans there too. So people have been asking me like, do you have like a thing for swans? I'm like, no. It just so happens that like that's how these things have worked out for me. So
that's so funny. I love that. Just random coincidences.
Yes.
How was getting ready the morning of your wedding? Like, was it different than what you expected, or was it kind of on par with how you expected the day to go?
I would say it was pretty on par. Our hair and makeup people did a really good job of staying on schedule. We actually finished earlier than we expected. We did get ready off-site in a hotel suite just so we had a little bit more space and we could bring in the food and the drinks and the alcohol that we wanted, because our venue did have restrictions as to like what you could bring in, and you had to pay extra if you wanted to get to the suite in the morning. So we just decided we'll get ready off-site, shuttle over. The hotel was right across the street, so it was very easy to do. But it was such a fun morning. We had like a nice little spread of like bagels and fruit and coffee, playing music. My maid of honor made a playlist of all like my favorite like Taylor Swift, Ariana Grande, Sabrina Carpenter, like love songs. So it was so cute. And then we were able to hop over to the venue. Gabby was there pretty much right at that time. So we were still all in our pajamas and slippers, took getting ready photos at the venue, and then we all got changed and started all of our photos from there. But Gabby also did a really good job helping set up the schedule, because she was the one who really was like, okay, this is when you should start hair and makeup, this is when it should end, this is when you should go to the venue. So she really helped keep us on track with all of that too.
I'm glad to hear that helped, because it's tough to envision the day when you don't know like the behind the scenes of what goes on at weddings, especially when you are like, when you plan your own wedding, like, yes, you do plan a lot of it, but also you're going to experience it the day of. You're not going to like run the show the day of. So it's a weird mix of like, okay, I do need to know like what's going on, but also I need to like not be aware of what's going on all day. Just trust that other people are going to make sure things happen.
Yes.
So I'm glad that was helpful. And your timeline was awesome. I remember there being like ample time at the beginning of the day, which is really rare on wedding days. So it was so nice. I got to get the super creative shot of your dress like hanging from a tree outside with like the light pouring in. Chef's kiss. And then Austin got a bunch of great groom portraits, which sometimes there's not enough time to get like a wide variety of groom portraits. So that was awesome.
Yes.
And then what was it like doing a first look with your dad and then a first look with Austin?
Yeah, so first look with my dad, we did that on the bridge. Pomme has this like beautiful little bridge that also doubles as like the walk down the aisle when you eventually like come down the aisle. But we also used it for a good bit of photos and for the first look with my dad. So he was kind of facing the opposite way. I tapped him on the shoulder. He turned around, and he's not a super like emotional, like touchy-feely kind of guy. Like he's a little bit more like reserved and guarded. So he was just like, oh my gosh, you look beautiful. Like I'm so excited for you. And he gave me a hug and a kiss on the head. And then we took a bunch of pictures together. But I could tell he was like overcome with emotion, which for him is like saying a lot. So that was really nice and sweet. And then the first look with Austin, we did down on the grass closer to like the trees and the little river that they have, so it was a little bit more like secluded and a little bit more of greenery. We did public vows, so we didn't do private vows as part of the first look. So again, I tapped him on the shoulder, he turned around, and there's a really cute video of him being like, oh my gosh, and then we had our little moment. It felt a little bit like, I don't know, I feel like people like hype up the first look so much and are like, oh my gosh, it's like the best part of the day, but I just kind of felt like, hello. Not that it wasn't amazing, but I was just kind of like, okay, we did it. Like, we did the first look.
Yeah.
Like, for me, I feel like if we had private vows associated with the first look, maybe it would have felt a little bit more like a pivotal part of the day. But it was kind of like, we turned around, we saw each other, we did our embrace. My dog Teddy was dropped off, so he very quickly came over and like interrupted the first look. We took pictures with him. And then we went into pictures with everyone else. So for me, looking back, it wasn't like a huge part of the day. Like it still was very special, but it's not something that I like look back on as being this like pivotal event. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think that's like very normal. And some of my friends have said like the same thing as well. And like I said, I think like the vows could change that, like having more of a like quiet, like pouring your heart out sort of moment associated with the first look versus if you're doing public vows, maybe not quite as much of that.
That's such an interesting take. I love that you're able to like look back and reflect on that. What was the reason that you guys decided to do a first look originally?
So this is so funny because I was like 100% I want to do that. Austin was like, no, I don't want to do that. And I don't know if you remember this. We were at a brewery, like going over the timeline for the day.
Yes.
And Gabby was like, so do you guys want to do a first look? And at the same time, I said, yes. Austin said, no. And then we looked at each other and we're like, I was like, yes, we do. He was like, no. He's like, Austin is such a like in touch with his emotions guy. He's like, I want the first time you're going down the aisle to be like the first time I'm seeing you. But then I think once Gabby kind of explained the logistics of everything and taking all the photos after that and kind of having that out of the way so we can be present for the rest of the wedding and enjoy the cocktail hour, he kind of was like, okay, like I'm kind of sold on that. But he was firm on the public vows. He was like, I want to say my emotions in front of all these people. Where if it was up to me, like I do get a little bit nervous with public speaking. So I kind of was like, I would prefer the private vows, but we were compromising. We did the first look and the public vows, first look being my thing, public vows being his thing. So that's kind of how that all worked out logistically.
That's so funny. I do remember that now that you say that. We just laughed so much.
Yes.
But it's so true. Go ahead.
I think you even made 2 separate timelines. Like if you do the first look, if you don't do the first look, and like sent both of them to us. And the whole time I was like, I know we're going to do the first look. I know I can talk them into it.
Yeah, but I like when there are couples on the fence, because there are a lot of couples who are on the fence of doing a first look. I like to create 2 timelines just so you can see what the day flows like. Because I feel like nowadays it's not as common to get married in a church, like on a separate venue, and then go to like the reception venue. A lot of times nowadays it's like the venues where everything happens, they're like built
Mm-hmm.
for that. It's not just
Yeah.
built for the reception. And so because there's no gap in between like ceremony at a church, then space to travel and like downtime for pictures and then reception, since it
Mm-hmm.
flows right into cocktail hour, there's just like not then built in time for
Right.
formal pictures without feeling rushed first, and
Yeah.
then like also like not being able to talk to the guests that came
Yeah.
to your reception without sacrificing time on the dance floor. So like for couples who are like, I'm okay with not waiting until the aisle, a lot of times it makes sense logistically to do a first look, but
Mm-hmm.
it also can work to wait till the aisle too. It's just
Yes.
more of like a an intense timeline to follow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And I
Yeah.
think again, like probably like 70 to 80% of our guests flew in from Georgia for this wedding because of all of our college friends from UGA. That's where Austin and I met, and all of Austin's family is from Georgia. This was like a big reunion of a wedding. Like it wasn't like our local family and friends that we see all the time. Like it was this big reunion. So we really just didn't want to miss out on any time with anyone. So that was a big part of our decision too.
Yes. And I do remember one moment during the cocktail hour, I heard like yelling, like boys yelling at one section of the cocktail hour. And I like turned and like tried to find what was going on. And these Austin's friends just like lifting him up in the air.
Yeah.
Like how
Yes.
they would just hanging out at college. And so I photographed it. I was like, this is amazing.
Yes.
And I'm like, this is why you guys are at cocktail hour. Like this wouldn't happen if we were like doing formal pictures like back to back to back at this time. So
yes,
I'm
definitely.
glad that happened.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to talk a little bit more about your vows though, because they were amazing.
Thank you.
I remember crying photographing your wedding because you two were very like, how do I say this? You're just very candid about how you felt about each other in your vows, and you didn't shy away from like sharing little inside jokes, even though you know many people in the audience might not get that, and you were just so vulnerable with each other in the vows. It was really, really beautiful. And I feel like that might not happen very often just because it is such an intimate thing to say out loud. How did you feel sharing those vows in public? So you said you're not a huge public speaker.
Yes. So honestly, I was so nervous, and that was probably the thing I was most nervous about for the wedding was these public vows. But we have been to weddings before where people have done like very personal public vows, and I feel like from someone who like experienced that like as a guest in the audience, like you just learn so much about the couple and like why they love each other, why they're a good match for each other. Sometimes you may go to a wedding for a close friend, but maybe you don't really know their significant other or their fiance very well. So you're like, okay, I'm happy for her, I'm supporting her, but like I don't really know anything about the groom. I have been in that situation many times attending weddings. So I just feel like the public vows are such a time and a space to like show everyone like a little glimpse into your relationship, because there's people in the audience that maybe don't know me that well, maybe don't know Austin that well. So I think we went into it both on the same page of like wanting to express our love and like provide a little bit of insight into like why we love each other and why we're like a good match for each other. So I just kind of talked about all the reasons I fell in love with Austin and like what we vow to forever, obviously. But my one request was that I go first, because not because I thought I would cry, but honestly, like I feel like if he went first and I just was there listening, like I probably would have gotten emotional. I also feel like it would have made me more nervous, being like, oh my gosh, are mine as good as this? Like, so my request was like, I will go first. So I went first, and I actually started like crying like while I was speaking, which I didn't expect that at all. I thought I would be nervous, so maybe I would like sound a little bit shaky or like be nervous like holding the page or like stumbling over my words, but it wasn't that at all. It was just I was getting choked up, which I did not see coming at all. And Austin cried while I was saying my vows to him, and then he went second, and I was kind of tearing up as he said them to me. But it was just such a beautiful moment looking back on, and we did have a videographer that filmed the whole thing, so we have a video of all of the vows to watch again. But so many people came up to us saying that they cried, which just makes me feel really good, because I feel like we achieved our like goals with doing the public vows.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's so special to be let in to like to hear all of that
Mm-hmm.
as a vendor or as a guest. And so then to be brought to tears after that too is like, man, it's like this
Yeah.
couple has something really special going
Aw,
on.
thank you.
Yeah. And I will say, I have noticed in my career that it is, I think, more common to get choked up when you are reading your own vows versus listening to vows
Mm-hmm.
being read to you. And I think it's because when writing your vows, like you think a lot about what you're going to say and you write them down, you like kind of practice
Mm-hmm.
it in your head. And then when you finally get the chance to say it to the person you love, it feels like a release almost. Like, oh my gosh, I just
Mm-hmm.
love you so much and like I can't believe this
Yeah.
is happening. Versus
Mm-hmm.
like listening to vows, sometimes you can totally cry, but it
Mm-hmm.
may take like a buffer second to like internalize what they're saying to you and
Right.
like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like
Right.
a later cry.
Yes. Yes.
That's so funny that you didn't expect to cry though. So I'm
No.
glad that you were able to fully like
Yeah.
be in the moment and feel all of the emotions.
Mm-hmm. Because before this, I have never once in my life happy cried. Like that's just not an emotion for me that is associated with like tears. It's just like I cry when I'm sad. So I wasn't expecting to cry at any point, but I did. So that was surprising.
Wow, that's really nice. I love that.
Yeah. Thank you.
Um okay, rest of the day was so fun.
Mm-hmm.
Cocktail hour
Mm-hmm.
was just like a giant reunion cocktail party. Truly.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Everybody's beat bopping around. It
Mm-hmm.
was so beautiful. Your seating chart had a Taylor Swift lyric reference on it, I
Yes,
believe.
yes, from Lover, at every table I'll save you a seat. My dad and I made it. It was like the very basic, like gold mirror with the cricket lettering. But we did that whole thing by hand, the two of us, one tiny little letter at a time, 140 guests. It took us 3 days. We did it over 4th of July weekend.
Oh my gosh, the
So
weekend before your wedding.
because you really don't know, like, people are like
You
dropping
don't
off
know.
last minute, people are adding on. So it was the weekend before the wedding, and my dad is such a perfectionist and he's so good with like DIYs and stuff like this. So we would put on like a table and he would be like, it's slightly tilted to the left, and I would be like, it's fine. He was like, no, we're redoing it. So he made us redo so many of them, but it did look so perfect. Like looking back, that's probably the proudest DIY that we did for the whole wedding, which we did do a good bit. And after the wedding, I just removed all the Cricut vinyl, and now it's in our living room as this just beautiful big gold mirror that we can remember as once being our seating chart.
That's amazing. I love that it was
Thank
a project
you.
that you and your dad did together.
Yeah,
That's such a fun memory.
yes. Yes, it was quite stressful, not gonna lie, but it is like fun to look back and be like, we spent the days doing that together leading up.
Yes. Were there any other DIY projects that you really loved?
Let's see.
Or maybe
I'm trying to
hated?
think. Oh my gosh, it was so long ago now. So we did similarly like a welcome sign with like a smaller sort of gold mirror. We did table numbers with the Cricut. We did do assigned seating just because I wanted everyone to be seated somewhere where they would have a good time, because I hate when I'm a guest at a wedding and maybe you're the last one to the table and you're like, oh man, like I'd prefer to be sitting over there. So I wanted to assign where everyone was sitting. So I made little name cards just to put at the place setting of where I wanted them to sit. Those were super easy and I think really helped just ensure everyone had like a good time at the tables. Not a DIY, but I did order custom cocktail napkins with my cat and my dog on them. So those were super cute. So Teddy and Poppy were represented. I think that's pretty much it though. I wouldn't say anything I hated. Like the seating chart, maybe looking back, I could have just ordered one and saved myself like the stress, but I am really proud of it at the end of the day.
No, it was beautiful. I am glad you
Thank
did
you.
that. It was
Thank you.
really gorgeous. And like
Thank
it's just
you.
a fun touch for the day too, because it's a mirror seating
Yes.
chart, so it's an extra
Yes.
fun flair.
Yes.
What are some of your favorite parts looking back from like after the ceremony, once things were kind of letting loose?
Mhm.
Do you have any favorite moments from cocktail or the reception?
Favorite moment. So right after the ceremony, before cocktail hour, the venue kind of set aside food and drinks for Austin and I, like in a private room in the getting ready suite. So we had probably about like 15 minutes, just the two of us, to like kind of soak in like that we're finally married and eat a little bit and have one of our signature drinks. So that was a really nice special moment to just like be alone, soak in everything, make sure we were fueled before going out to mingle. So that was really nice. I'm really glad that they did that for us. But other than that, I would say the speeches were really nice. I think everyone did such a good job with their speeches. My dad, my maid of honor, and the best man, Scott, all just did such a great job with their speeches. So I loved listening to those. Looking back, it was really sweet. And it just made us both feel so loved and supported. So that was awesome. And then, of course, the dance floor. Austin and I both are big dancers. Austin especially. He's like the life of the party everywhere we go. So because of that energy on the dance floor, everyone was on the dance floor, from like the 2-year-old flower girl to like the 90-year-old grandparents. Like everyone was out on the dance floor. So it was just such a party and it was so much fun.
Yes, it was a high energy reception from start to finish. Like it did not stop and it was amazing.
Yes, my bustle kept coming undone because I had a pretty big train, and I kept going over to Gabby, being like, tapping her on the shoulder. She has her earplugs in. I'm like, the bustle again. And she would put it back up, and then I'd go back up on the dance floor. And every time this would happen, I would like hand my drink to a friend to like be rebustled. I would come back, not be able to find the drink. So then someone would come over to me and say, do you need another drink? So then they'd give me another completely new drink, and then the cycle would continue. So I don't think I finished one single full drink the whole night because I kept like losing them on the dance floor because Gabby kept having to fix my bustle.
Yes, it was a stubborn bustle. Your dress train was so long and beautiful. It had many layers to it, right? Like the top layer was like kind of a tulle, and then there was like designs on the bottom. It was stunning. It was like,
thank you,
perfect for the light during the middle of the day for like outdoor wedding vibes. Perfect for that. Dance floor being crazy, maybe not the most perfect dress train. I just had like but like there's nothing you can do because you get the dress for the ceremony, for the day, for the pictures. Yeah. And then by the time you're dancing, it's like whatever. Yeah. But yeah, it was those little metal hooks, but because your dress was so delicate with like how it was designed with the tulle and stuff, it was just, they fell off so easily. So I think I had to like safety pin your dress together at one point, which is why I always have safety pins, because you're dancing. That's all you care about. That's all you need to care about at that point of the day. Like that's all that matters. But that's so funny. I do wear earplugs during wedding receptions, but I can always hear.
It's smart. It's smart, honestly. And I did debate getting a reception dress, but at the end of the day, I was like, I spent all this money for this dress. I'm just going to keep it on. And actually, nothing spilled on it. Like, it stayed totally clean. I got it dry cleaned, obviously, and then preserved by a company. So it's displayed in this nice little box in my closet, nice and safe. So no damage from the dance floor.
No. And like, in all the pictures, like you can't tell at all that it kept coming apart or that there was like a safety pin in there. It was gorgeous the whole entire night.
Thank you.
Yeah. And then you guys ended the night. You did a private last dance and then a sparkler exit.
Yes.
How was that going from like the crazy hours long dance floor to like a quiet, intimate private last dance with Austin?
Yeah, it was really sad because of course they're like last song and you're like, oh my gosh, no, because I feel like everyone says this, but the whole night just like flew by. And I don't know if you know this happened. I don't know if you know that this happened or not, but like right before the first dance, like I think literally like the last song of the night or something, one of the groomsmen, Parker, who had the blonde long hair, apparently all night he was saying, I'm gonna do the worm, I'm gonna do the worm. All night he kept saying it to people. And then the DJ says, last song of the night. So my brother looks at him and goes, Parker, you owe us a worm. But right before this, someone had shattered their glass on the dance floor. We didn't know. So Parker goes to do the worm and he splits his chin open on the dance floor. There was blood everywhere. Like he ended up having to get like medical attention the next day because he busted open his chin so badly on the dance floor. So everyone was like trying to like get him bandaged up, like clean the dance floor. And then it was like Austin and I's very intimate private last dance to Tennessee whiskey.
Oh my gosh.
We were like recovering from this like event going into that, but it was still like a beautiful first dance. I love that song. It's such a sweet country love song that I feel like describes us very well, having met in Georgia and everything. And then sparkler exits are always so fun. It was done on the bridge of the Pomme, so it was very like narrow, so it just felt very like intimate. It was really long because I feel like most people did stay the whole reception, which was awesome. And then we got right on the party bus that was taking us back to where the hotels were.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I knew that Parker busted something and was bleeding and that there was blood because I was like, we need to make sure the dance floor is clear, like clean for the private last dance. I did not know that he cut his chin on a piece of glass in the dance floor, though. Yeah. I just thought he just went down, like it did a worm, but like hit his head. Wow, that's crazy.
Someone had dropped their drink like just before, and like they hadn't gotten a chance to clean it up yet because it was an actual like glass. And yeah.
Yes, I do want to say publicly, for the record, there are glasses that break at most weddings that I photograph. Just because like when you're dancing with a glass in your hand, especially if you had a couple of drinks already and somebody bumps into you, it's very easy for that glass to fall. So please don't dance barefoot. Always wear flip-flops or something.
Yes.
So dangerous.
Yes. No barefoot and no worms.
Yes, no worms. Dear goodness. But no, it was chaotic and crazy and fun, and then the private dance was really, really beautiful. To like be in that room and kind of like observe from a distance and like photograph you guys doing your thing and having that moment.
Yes.
And then it's always fun when a sparkler exit like is the exit, and then you like just go onto the party bus and leave from there.
Yeah.
I successfully did not have my hair catch on fire during the sparkler exit, which is great.
Has that happened before?
I've gotten like cinches before. Just because sometimes it's tight, like it was tight on the bridge, and people don't lift up their sparklers high enough. I'm backing up before you guys enter, so they might not see me coming really because I'm squatting so low. Yeah, but it was successful, and then we got some great pictures of you guys too. And then the kiss at the end of the sparkler tunnel is always really fun.
Yes, you got such great pictures. I was like wondering while we were going, like, how is this going to turn out? Because it was so narrow and you were literally, like in a very low squat, slowly like inching backwards on the bridge. And I kind of was like, how are these going to look after the fact? But they looked really good. We got some great ones.
I'm so glad. Yeah, sparkler exits are, I think, the most stressful part of a wedding day for me because it is like, I do have to squat walk because I want the sparklers to be like behind your faces because that's what you want for the pictures, but I have to like angle it that way and then gotta use a wide angle lens and it's just a whole thing. But they worked and I'm very happy about that.
Yes, me too.
Did you guys have an after party after the wedding?
So this is actually funny. So the main host hotel was in Conshohocken. So that's where the party bus went. Some people did stay at the Radnor Hotel because that was right across from the venue. But we did have a hotel in Conshohocken that most people stayed at because there are a lot of bars and stuff walkable there, just like to have more fun after the wedding. So the party doesn't stop right when the reception ends. So most of us took the party bus to the Conshohocken kind of main strip. And our plan was to go to the Great American Pub rooftop because they were supposed to be open, I think, till 1 a.m. And Austin and I have been there before with friends. We checked it out literally the weekend before just to see, okay, what's it like a Saturday night around this time? Like, kind of what's the vibe? We went, we were like, okay, this is so perfect. Like, we'll be back. One of my bridesmaids, she beat us there because she drove with her now fiance. She's getting married this summer. I'm actually her maid of honor, so I feel like I'm like reliving this all again. But her and her fiance beat us there because they drove separately in an actual car, not the bus. And she texts me and goes, "The rooftop's closed." And I was like, "What do you mean it's closed?" She was like, "I don't know. They're not letting anyone up. They said it's closed tonight." So you're like, what do we do? So there's only one other bar in Conshohocken that's open that late, and it is kind of like a dive bar, but it ended up being so fun anyways because everyone was there. It was open super late. There was another wedding there, so we were kind of like intermingling with them, and it was walking distance to the hotel. So it was still a great time, but it was a little glitch in the plans.
That's so funny. I love that you were still able to find a place though,
Yes.
like right where you needed to be and still continue the party.
Yeah. If not, we probably just would have hung out in the hotel or something. Like there was a hotel bar. The hotel was Weston, Maine in Conshohocken. If any of you listeners are local, it's a very beautiful hotel. I think it's a chain of the Marriott or something, but it's a little bit like fancier. So it was super nice. There's a really cool restaurant in there too, Hook and Ladder. They have kind of a rooftop and a nice little outdoor space. So it would have been fun to hang out there too. But
amazing. Love that. Yeah. Backup plans on backup plans in the moment.
Yes. Yes.
Very cool. Okay. To round out this episode, I asked this question to everybody who comes in the podcast. Mm-hmm. What is your biggest piece of advice for couples planning their wedding?
Biggest piece of advice. I guess what I would say is you're not going to be able to make everyone happy. So what is most important is that you and your fiance are happy and that you guys are approaching this as really like your first big thing that you're doing together as a team, because when you get married, you truly are a team. So trying to compromise where you need to and just making this decision together to start your marriage off on the right foot.
That is such a great piece of advice. I love that so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. There's so many people involved in weddings because there's so many people involved in your life. And so whether you have like a standard wedding or if you elope, I feel like there's going to be opinions about things that are happening. And so it's important to be like, okay, but the only thing that matters is we're getting married and we're happy about what's happening around when we're getting married, and that's what matters.
Yeah, and that's such a good metaphor too, like going into life. Like those same people who are having all these opinions and kind of pushing the boundaries with you for things like your wedding and doing a first look and should your dog be at the venue or not. That was my situation. There was a little bit of pushback with that. We kind of had to sneak them in and sneak them out really quickly, but those same people are going to be inserting their opinions about your life down the line, your future kids down the line, if you so choose. So like putting the front now, like you and your partner are a team and we make these decisions together and we're adults and you will respect our choices because we make good choices together as a team.
Yeah, I love that so much. It is true. It's a life thing. There's always going to be opinions in life, and when you get married, like it's the two become one. Like you guys are a united unit. So it's important to like public facing, be like, we are deciding this together and this is and this is what we feel most important about. So yes. I love that piece of advice.
Yes, thank you.
Amazing. Well, it was great talking to you. I loved reliving your wedding day and hearing about little bits of drama that I didn't know about the day of.
Yes, me too. It seems like so long ago, but also at the same time, like I can't believe it's almost been like a whole year. July will be a year. So it's just so nice to sit down and kind of talking about all these things again, because it's been a while since I've like thought about it and relived it. So it's exciting.
Yeah, I feel like there's so many opportunities to like in-depth walk through your wedding day after it happens, because it takes so much planning to make it happen that afterwards it's just like, it's over. We can enjoy married life.
Yeah, so this was so fun. So thank you for having me.
Of course. It was so nice to have you on.